What's up, guys? Today we'll be talking about the Russian Revolution in 1905, directed and narrated by Brandon Lieu and starring Thomas Zun and Jason Cervantes. Well, and what is the Russian Revolution in 1905? Well, a general definition is that it was a wave of mass political and social unrest that spread through vast areas of the Russian Empire. More details about this later. First, let's discuss its causes. So, what caused the Russian Revolution in 1905? The causes can be divided into four categories. The Russian Revolution started because of agrarian problems, conflicts with nationalities, labor problems, and the educated class who held radical ideals. So let's discuss the agrarian issue in Russia. Every year, thousands of nobles in debt mortgaged their estates to peasants. This land was sold to a community of peasants and was known as allotment land. This plan was meant to prevent the exploitation of peasants. Ironically, it did the opposite. The peasants could not make a living off this small amount of land, and were not lawfully allowed to sell it or mortgage it. They could not pay the taxes given to them for their allotment land. As a result, many starved and resorted to banditry, roaming the countryside for work. Another cause of the Russian Revolution of 1905 was the conflicts between nationalities. 19th century Russians saw cultures and religions in a clear hierarchy, and it was a very multi-ethnic empire. Non-Russian cultures tolerated the empire, but were not necessarily respected. For example, Russian Jews had been a problem. The official view were that they were enemies of Christianity and exploiters of the peasantry. The accumulation of diverse culture in Russia created a cumbersome nationality problem that plagued the Russian government in the years before and during the revolution, especially when it pursued efforts of Russification. The autocratic ruler at the time, or the Tsar, Nicholas II, was not a very good leader, and he even said so himself in this quote.
What is going to happen to me in all of Russia? I am not prepared to be Tsar. I never wanted to become one. I know nothing of the business of ruling.
Nicholas II's attitude towards his own leadership didn't help Russia at all. If you think you're a crap leader, then you are a crap leader, and this was definitely a contribution to the 1905 revolution. There's also a labor problem that contributed to the Russian Revolution of 1905. The peasants' taxpayers' ability to pay was strained to the utmost, and this led to widespread famine in 1891. In the 1890s, under the Minister of Finance, Sergei Vit, a crash governmental program was proposed to promote industrialization, and the reason why he did this can be expressed in this quote.
The tragic aspect of the situation is that the Tsar is living in utter fool's paradise, thinking that he is as strong and all-powerful as before.
Ironically, Vid's success in implementing the program helped spur the 1905 revolution as it raised social tensions. People began to participate in illegal strikes and revolutionary protests. Another cause of the 1905 revolution is the building radicalism in students that originated under Alexander II's rule and continued all the way to 1905 under Nicholas II's rule. They developed the idea of having the right to have an independent opinion and proper employment, and they began to boycott, riot, and arrange marches. Now that we've covered the causes, what actually started the Russian Revolution in 1905? Well, all these tensions led to an event called the Bloody Sunday, in which Orthodox priests led a huge workers' procession to the Winter's Palace in St. Petersburg to deliver a petition to the Tsar on January 22nd of 1905. At some point, the Tsar's troops fired upon the demonstrators and killed around hundreds. These firing on the demonstrators evoked tons of riots throughout all of the Russian Empire, and these riots and strikes were known as the Russian Revolution of 1905. And now, we are at the height of the Russian Revolution. After the Tsar's uncle is assassinated, Tsar Nicholas II agrees on February 18th to the creation of a state Duma, which is a form of government that will represent the people. However, it has no power and agitates them even more. Therefore, the October Manifesto has to be presented to the Tsar in order to settle the people. It granted basic civil rights and allowed the formation of political parties. And after the Tsar reluctantly signed, this marked the end of the Russian Revolution of 1905. But what followed was the Russian Constitution of 1906, and what this did was made sure that the October Manifesto's promises held true. Although Nicholas II does remain Tsar, you'll find out that in the 1917 revolution that he does not. And now, let us review. Causes of the revolution can be blamed on agrarian, labor, national, and educated class issues, and the causes were the creation of the Duma, which eventually led to the October Manifesto and ultimately the Russian Constitution in 1906.